Good afternoon and many thanks to be here. This communication will concern a synthesis of the results of the site of Abri du Maras, a Neanderthal site located in the southeast of France. Today we are going to focus especially on the subsistence and technological strategies over the sequence and discuss about the differences that we observe between the phases of occupation. As I told you, the site is located near the Rhône Valley at the end of the Ardèche Valley in the southeast of France, and this area along the Rhône corridor is made up of low plateaus, the right side of the Rhône Valley, and the site is located in limestone formations southeast to the Massif Central. In red, here is the location of the site, which is not alone in this area. Along the Ardèche River and along a tributary of the river, there are several Middle Paleolithic sites. Among others, we can mention the Figuier, Saint-Marcel and the Abri des Pêcheurs, all dated to the Upper Pleistocene. Today, the site is a collapsed shelter located in a small and dry valley perpendicular to the Ardèche River that you can see on the right photo. During the occupation, the valley was probably recorded to the river at the same altitude. You can see on the slide down the blue plastic cover where is located the excavation. You can also see that the remaining shelter is really limited. In the past, the site has been excavated in the 60s by René Gilles, then Jean Combier. They excavated an area near the shelter wall, and above all the first upper layer, in yellow on the slide, which is famous by a Levallois laminar débitage with elongated points and blades. Jean Combier opened then a small and narrow test pit in front of the site, yellow square, and described 8 levels. On the left you can see the sequence recognized in the past by Jean Combier. We decided to open a large excavated area on the east side of the site in an undisturbed part, after a first test pit in 2006, in red on the slide, in front of the excavations of Jean Combier. Then we have started a large excavation from 2009 in red on the slide. Today I am going to speak to you about results from these new fieldworks. It is difficult so far to relate the two fieldworks, the past and the recent ones, because of the little size of the past test pit of Jean Combier. The upper level has been completely excavated by René Gilles, and the size of our excavation indicates a variability of infillings moreover. We know that we are working on the bottom of the sequence, and the substratum has been found in front of the site, like on the section made by Jean Combier on the left side of the slide. Different methods of dating have been applied on the site, ISA, uranium, thorium and OSL. The new sequence shows 2 big phases of sedimentation. They belong to the isotopic stage 3, what I have named layer 4, and end of the stage 5, my layer 5 and 5 upper. Deposits of the stage 4 are for the moment not recognized on the sequence by erosion or the like of sedimentation. On this slide, you can see a photo of a site and a drawing of a sequence. The upper part of the sequence is made of residues of the upper part of the sequence with few artifacts. The layer 1, excavated by René Gilles, has been completely excavated and the deposits disturbed by a wall built for locking ships in the past under the shelter. The first layer in situ and undisturbed is the layer 4, with 2 phases of occupation separated by a sterile layer, 4.1 and 4.2, dated to the stage 3 in green and red on the section. Then, under a major collapse of the shelter, almost 1 meter thick, there is a second and thick undisturbed layer that we have named 5 upper and 5, dated to the end of the stage 5 in yellow on the slide. On this slide, you can see on the left the aspect of the layers of blocks of a major collapse of a shelter between the layers 5 and 4 and the layer 5 upper in works on the photo of the middle. On the right, here is the main section of the site with the 2 levels of occupations and the layer of limestone blocks between the layers 5 and 4. The different phases of occupations have yielded ash lenses and small and thin possible fireplaces. They are unbuilt. They are also dispersed on the surface, suggesting ever recurrent occupations of diverse spots of activities. The charcoals are numerous, dispersed or concentrated on small lenses. They are mainly from Pinus and Betula. They attest a selection in the surroundings and give an idea of the landscape around. Burned bones are present and are determined as possible combustible. Burned flint are also present, but less frequent than the bones. To finish the description of the sequence, we have found the substratum on 2 trenches opened in front of the site. And we were surprised to find remains of a red deposit, partially preserved, with archaeological material. It is named Layer 6, with many quartzite and quartz artifacts. Inside the layers 5 and 6, there are many small broken speleothems, and a preliminary uranium-thorium dating provides ages between 350 and 500,000 years ago. They suggest that a large and humid cavity existed in the past, covering probably the 2 sides of the valley, now completely collapsed. About the lithic material, the levels 4.1 and 4.2 yield lithic assemblages composed of 2 groups. The first one is made of large products brought to the site because there are no cores of these sites on the site. They are made of large blades, points and flakes, some Levallois, and in flint. Most of them are unretouched. An additional flaking of small products is made on flakes or nodules of flint brought to the site by different core technologies. Some can be Levallois for flakes and points, and other ones. Most of the cores are not exhausted. The ratio of flake tools is low, above all for level 4.1. Tools are composed of scraper, points and bakes, and never on Levallois products. We can mention one original feature among the assemblages with a few Kenai scrapers on big flakes, also brought to the site, and 2 small bifacial tools made on a flint slab or a flake. The raw material is flint, associated to pebbles and flakes on quartz, quartzite, basalt, limestone, and volcanic rocks. Flint comes mainly from a perimeter of 30 km both on the northern plateaus and the southern plateaus, indicating that Neanderthals crossed the Ardèche River. The collecting was only on the right side of the Rhône. Neanderthals had a behavior of collectors, as for the other sites of the area, collecting all types of flint on various outcrops. A total of 17 types has been determined. The main one is the Baremo-Bedoulian, found on northern plateaus. Systematic refits both on lithic and bones attest short displacements and short-term occupations for the occupation of the stage 3, levels 4.1 and 4.2. Here is on this slide the example of the lithic refits for the level 4.1, and these refits indicate short sequences of reduction in situ for small flakes. Regarding the subsistence activities, the residues and microware on the flint artifacts indicate a large diversity of activities, with residues of plants, wood, and activities related to butchery. On the right, a rabbit hair and cut marks on the bone indicate that lagomorph was also among the game of Neanderthal on this site. Residues of twisted fiber has permitted to demonstrate a fiber technology on this site for the level 4.2. And the micro-residue was preserved into a small fragment of breccia on a Levallois flake. Some flakes with traces of hafting have been considered as projectiles. They are points, Levallois points, and flakes. The layer 5 is a different world, dated to the end of the stage 5, with a different toolkit. 3 phases of occupation have been described for the moment by the density of archaeological material. First, large products introduced on the site are less frequent, and more tools are made directly on thin slabs of flint with a bifacial retouch, like this one on the slide with a convex and long cutting edge. The débitage is again on small cores with a larger diversity of methods, including Levallois, but less frequent than for layer 4. Slabs of tertiary flint dominate flint flakes for a débitage in situ. Most of the cores are on slabs. We can also mention more pebbles, some with traces of percussion, and more other raw materials, even if flint always dominates. Preliminary refits on flint indicate a higher ratio on slabs and flakes than for the layer 4. On the excavations, we have also found some spots of débitage, as you can see on the photo on the right, a small slab with the different flakes. The ratio of flake tools is higher for the 3 phases of occupation for this layer, and if we compare with the layer 4. There are also Kina scrapers, but only 3 of these tools for the wall deposit. The original feature of the assemblages is related also to the retouch, which is much more invasive compared to the levels 4.1 and 4.2, changing more deeply the edges of the products. The flint gathering area is also a little bit different, more turned to the south, with a large collecting on the plateaus for slabs. 34 types of flint have been determined on various outcrops. The outcrops of the north were also collected. And we have to mention the hypothesis of a crossing of the Rhône Valley with 2 possible types of flint that could come from the left bank. Residues have been found as well, and the microware studies again indicate a diversity of activities. On the photos you can see one air fragment, a fish scale, and possible traces of hafting. There are also traces of impacts on some tips of points. And finally, by the method of the pollen washes on one flake, a high concentration of mushrooms related to roots of Alnus have been observed. This concentration can be due to pollution. This tree does not exist anymore on the small and dry valley near the site or the plateau. The hypothesis is that the flake has worked these roots for various reasons, including medicinal reasons. Regarding faunal remains and the subsistence behavior, we can observe that the animal spectrum is based on medium and large-sized ungulates. The 3 assemblages are dominated by reindeers up on the graph, then by red deers, horses, and bisons. Reindeer is the main species in level 4.1. In level 4.2 and layer 5, the diversity of species increases. In layer 5, 11 species have been identified. There is no carnivore in layer 4 and a little number of traces in layer 5. In layer 5, levels 5.1, 5.2 and 5.3, the mortality profiles indicate a preference for prime adult individuals for reindeer and horse. The prime-dominated profile was the result of selective hunting in function of the age. The site was especially occupied in summer for reindeer, even if the horse shows certain variability, including autumn kills in level 5.1 and 5.3, and spring slaughter in 5.2. In the levels 4.1 and 4.2, we observe a catastrophic mortality for the reindeer, which corresponds to seasonal hunting episodes of reindeer herds, mainly in autumn in 4.1 and spring in 4.2. For the horse of the levels 4.1 and 4.2, the 2 strategies were observed, with some evidence of summer mortality in 4.1. Despite the important amount of root etching, especially in the levels 4.1 and 4.2, the bone surface preservation permits to identify a large amount of cut marks due to various butchering processing, including skinning, evisceration, fleshing, and disarticulation. For all the levels, the bone assemblages were highly fragmented. Bone marrow consumption was intensive due to the identification of green bone breakage and associated percussion marks, indicating that animal resources were fully exploited once. Burn bones are numerous, and carnivore modifications are absent or very scarce within all the sequence. To conclude on the subsistence strategies, the occupations of the abri du maras could correspond to the typical features of a residential camp where high quantities of food transported and processed in situ during cooperative events. In the three phases of occupation of a layer 5, the site was especially occupied during long-term occupation events, while proxies seem to record short-term occupations in the level 4.1. The repeated use of a site as a campsite indicates the importance of the cavity, then the rock shelter for Neanderthals. This repeated use may be due to the position of the site near the Ardèche River, which offered refuges and easy accesses to different types of habitats, for example, the valley and the plateaus above. Now, if we add the lithic data to the subsistence, we can distinguish two types of occupations over time, short and long-term occupations. How can be explained? Climate and landscapes, size of the habitat from a cavity to a shelter, like an open-air site at the end, or changing of traditions over time. For the layer 4, stage 3, occupations took place during humid and fresh climate. The occupations were devoted mainly to reindeer hunting. This type of activity can be due to the location of a site on migration passages of reindeer's herds or because near large valleys of the Ardèche and the Rhône rivers. The site was now a small shelter only on the right side of a small valley. For the end of this stage 5, layer 5, the climate was possibly more temperate. The site was a large shelter or a cavity, explaining perhaps the different types of occupation and the duration, with a higher diversity of game, with occupations during the summer but also other seasons, and more flint collected to the south. The territory and mobility of the group could be more located on the south than the north. Finally, to conclude, in the state of knowledge on the site, we can compare with our previous studies on several Middle Paleolithic sites in the same area. And results suggested three groups of sites opposing long to short-term occupations and bivouacs. In bivouacs, the assemblages are composed mainly of introduced flint pieces with an additional debitage on local stones, quartz or basalt. There are few specialized sites so far in the area because perhaps few open-air sites have been found. By the large excavation in process at the Abri du Maras, we are now able to investigate in detail different types of occupation on the same sequence, to compare them, to discuss them by a multidisciplinary study and contribute to understand how Neanderthals occupied the low plateaus along the Rhône Valley. The site belongs to both what has been described as a residential site with more or less long duration of occupation, undisturbed by carnivores, suggesting an intensive occupation perhaps of the site. And many thanks for your attention.